could walk into a room with 500 people and he owned it. He owned it. He had a very outgoing personality, very, very smart, very politically astute.
But he had a great personality. He really did. He was a lot of fun. He liked to joke around. He got along very well with the press because of that, because he was relaxed and he wasn't uptight all the time.
His parents owned a vending company. It's called H&Z Vending, and I think it was for Jaime Zorinsky. It was way before what you guys would understand. We used to have vending machines with candy and a lot of cigarettes and stuff like that. And that was a pretty good sized company. And that's who he worked for.
He knew the people. He'd been in business. He'd been on the board of OPD before he was elected.
We had the two things. We had the snow blizzard in January, which was horrendous. Mm-hmm. And then we had the tornado in May. Question that how Eddie Zorinsky handled the snowstorm and how he handled the tornado catapulted him into more prominence because he did such a good job.
And actually on the third floor of the Civic Center, the big doors were taken off, and that he felt made him more accessible to the public, to people to come and see him. He also had in his office a jukebox. When they gave tours of City Hall, they always brought him up to the mayor's office to see the open door and his jukebox.
I had a meeting where some people who were much higher up on the food chain than me were telling Eddie Zorinsky, you should run for this congressional seat. And he said, no, I'm going to run for Senate.
And when he ran, he was a Republican, and then when he ran for the Senate, he switched to Democratic Party. And he ran against John McAllister, which had been things that he promised when he was running for Senate, that he was going to get a seat on the Agriculture Committee. And he was very, very actively involved in the farm bill, and making sure that the farmers in Nebraska got their fair shake.
And that's the first committee I sought to be on when I was elected to the United States Senate. And as a spin-off to that, quite obviously, the oversupply, which about almost a third of some of our commodities go overseas, I think is very relative to being a member on the Foreign Relations Committee and seeking out those markets where we could market that product.
But I went in and said to him, the president is on the phone from Mexico. He thought it was the president of Mexico. And he picked up the phone and said, hola, and all of that. And I realized it was Ronald Reagan calling on the phone. So it was, and I said to him, the president's calling from Mexico. I never said it was the president of Mexico. So it was kind of funny.
I've been to Washington on business a few times, and I took my wife. So of course she wanted to see the sights, and she wanted to see the White House. So I called Zorinsky's office and I said, my wife wants to go see the White House, can you get us passes? He said, sure. So delivered to our hotels these real fancy little passes to go see the White House. So we were supposed to be there at 9 o'clock, we pull up to where we're supposed to be, and there's this line like 3 blocks long. And I looked at my wife and I said, these poor suckers are in the line, we got special passes. So I go right to the front of the line, the guy says, can I help you? And I said, yeah, I've got a pass here to see the president, to see the White House. And I said, okay, get in the line. I said, no, I got one of these passes. And he said, so does everybody else in that line back there. So we didn't get the special view of it, but we got it.